I'm Trying to Break Your Heart is a film by Sam Jones, covering the recording of Wilco's fourth album, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. The film has major flaws and hardly steps outside the bubble of the band, but by the time the credits roll, Wilco have sort of broken up.
City blinking, what was I thinking when I let go of you?
Welcome to our movie. We're going to be seeing lots of film about Wilco today.
Wilco is in a position where they can make the record they want to make. I mean, there is definitely, I don't know if I'd call it pressure, but there's definitely a feeling that this is sort of the moment.
Jeff Tweedy and Jay Bennett are introduced as the pillars of Wilco, but it's clear Jay isn't going to last. He is unceremoniously fired, the band moves on, and after much delay, the record comes out to universal acclaim.
We have decided to sign, the band's going to sign to None Such Records.
Please welcome one of America's most exciting and innovative bands, Wilco!
You don't see me now.
The music wins fans over, new and old, and Wilco are labeled the American Radiohead. After Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, Wilco changed. They added new members as longtime bandmates quit, and although they're still making music today, the Wilco of 2021 is eons away from the band in this film. I'm Trying to Break Your Heart bottles the last time Wilco were on music's bleeding edge, all while slowly disassembling their core dynamic. The songs are invigorating, meditative, roaring, and chaotic. Watching Wilco go over their hits and test out new material in this context triggers something in my brain. Like watching the Beatles sing on a rooftop, this isn't just another show, it's a farewell. This is how we're introduced to the band. There's not much to say about the context of these performances, mostly because they're recording sessions. Everything is tuned to be as clean and not rough around the edges as possible. That said, it really is something to see Wilco try camera as a hard rocker, and this transition from practice to recording on Poor Places is golden.
It's about 3 in the morning. We were either going to get something great or lose our fucking minds. All these things are just blaring in here, you know? That's when it all kind of like exploded.
They cried all overseas. It makes no difference to me.
These early performances show Wilco as a functional, exciting unit. We call that setting a baseline.
I thought it was feeling great, man. Yeah, it felt great.
No, I mean, we can try things two guitars again if it feels too weak. I just think that we tried the two. I think the two guitars thing was like, might be obsolete, you know?
I'm not sure what that means, but I'll try.
In this rehearsal, the band is sedated, chugging through the song like they've been playing it for years. Jones even intercuts the performance with interviews, so it's clear he wasn't crazy about it either. But for the sake of context, listen for something that sounds out of place. Hear it? It's the organ. While the rest of the band is going through the motions, Jay is soloing. Sure, the organ is ruining the mood, but this is rehearsal for a live show. Wilco started as a country rock band with an audience that expected riffs and extended solos. Their new sound doesn't quite fit with what Jay is doing here, but he's clearly just having some fun in an otherwise stale environment. Director Sam Jones interprets his behavior as an annoyance, and the isolation of Jay Bennett officially begins.
Let's talk about Jay.
All right, I probably won't have much to say.
That's in the film.
It cuts right there.
Right. And okay, let me try to explain myself. I didn't know that
This is taking a lot longer than doing one mute.
I didn't know until now that you wanted it to start with a little kit. Big kit.
Heavy metal drummer.
Yeah.
Heavy metal drummer. How's that going?
Fell in love with the drummer. She fell in love with the drummer. She fell in love.
Okay, this one is rough. Heavy Metal Drummer is a light, up-tempo song about nostalgia for youth. It's about the carefree days of watching shitty bands, knowing none of it is really worth arguing over. While the band are creating the final mix of Heavy Metal Drummer, Jeff and Jay aren't on the same page.
Drummer starts, then two measures later, Heavy Metal Drummer really starts.
It's not super clear what Jay is trying to suggest, so I won't speculate. What's obvious is that Jeff is frustrated and thinks the conversation is a waste of time and resources.
I don't have to understand you all the time. Like, it's okay.
Okay, it seems to me like you're making a big deal out of not wanting to.
Not wanting to. Okay.
As the two recede into the background, Jones lowers the volume of their conversation so we can't quite hear what they're saying, but it's clearly not about Heavy Metal Drummer anymore.
2 seconds ago, you said, why is it so important that I understand you?
Well, because it doesn't seem like you were going to let me understand you.
That's okay.
Explain it to me again and
to
again
sound
and
slightly
again.
different.
Anyone who sees this movie will tell you, this is the hardest scene to watch. It's the only real argument, but what an indicative argument it is.
He didn't feel that he had as much a role in the songwriting as he wanted to have, or...
I think that there's some truth to that.
It did not come as a total shock to me to be asked to leave Wilco.
Shortly after, Jay is kicked out, and when Wilco performed the song live, it's without him. The mixing and touring process goes on, even as once fruitful relationships collapse.
We sat down and he said, I don't think I can make music with you anymore.
I don't think it's fair to say whether Wilco were better or worse after firing Jay, but their relevance is certainly not in question. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot made them stars, and never again were they so beloved by the public and by critics.
It's my father's voice trailing off, sailors sailing off in the morning.
As I've said before, Wilco had something special with this album, but after Jay, they were never this band again.
He wanted the band back. That's simple. That's a simple answer.
It's hard for me to talk about. I mean, I've known Jay for 16 years, 17 years, and our friendship had run its course.
As for the circumstances surrounding him leaving, I really think that that's up to Jay to define. And as far as my feelings about it, I couldn't be happier.
There's bourbon on the breath of the singer you love so much. He takes all his words from the books that you don't read anyway. How do you fight loneliness? Smile all the time.
Like all great acts that break up publicly, Wilco could play. I said earlier that I think of the Beatles when I think of this film, of that long-lost Let It Be documentary, a desperate attempt to keep the Beatles together as they were growing further apart. This is the kind of performance that puts Wilco on that level.
That's how you fight it.
At one moment in time, they could really play. And they could play together.
You're always playing the you're pretty much doing 1-5-6-4 on all the. A lot of times when you're playing, if you don't have any like sonic landscape behind you, everything turns into a folk song. That's pretty much what you do, right?
Father's voice trailing off, say the same.